The screen is not changing. The bullshit above me. It's still my Zoom. It's still.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This one the screen.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Buffering a bit, everyone. How is everyone doing today? It's just me, it's super slow. The lag on my screen as I'm talking. Right, okay, so today's a rainy day, so I'm expecting more viewers because everyone should be at home. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Alright, so today we will be going through our ebooks again, alright? So I did mention last session that I will be spending I'll be spending more time on hi Ozil! Welcome to the live. Hi Ozil! I haven't seen you in so long. How is the prep going? You are secondary school, right? I think you're wait, is Ozil primary or secondary? I don't know. Oh right! It's the last day of school before holidays, I know. So the secondary school and primary school have like the same holidays? I'm not sure. Yeah. Oh, secondary school. I was right. Secondary school. Secondary school.
Sure. Oh, and I think not the same.
Oh, it's not the same. Oh, it's not the same. Oh, it's not the same. But honestly, it's always the last day of school that before holidays that is so exciting. I remember like the amount of fun I've always had with my friends before the holidays start. It's not even when the holidays start. There's always the last day before the holidays start. But I have to go back to school for exams in June holidays. Oh right, you guys have to prep, right? It's to prep for the exam. Are you taking O levels this year? Also, if you're going back to school for exams in June holidays, it should be O levels this year. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Jean, could you help me get bottled water? Thank you. But yeah, O levels. That's crazy. How do you feel? How do you feel? Do you feel very stressed out? I mean, it's completely normal because I remember how I felt during my O levels. In fact, how I felt during my JC. It was just very, I felt very all over the place. But the moment everything ended, the last day of school, um, I'm stressed from math. Okay, cannot help you with that. I cannot help you with math. I'm terrible at it as well. But I remember the last day of school, right after like the exams, the last exam paper. Thank you. Thank you so much. The last exam paper. You look famous. You look familiar. Are you famous? No, I am not. No, I am not. But I wish I would be. I wish I could be. But yeah, I remember the last day of school, like the last day of exams. My friends and I, we just went for karaoke. We just did not want to remember anything in the exam. And the next day, we all had such intense sore throats, okay? But it didn't matter because exams had already ended. So just look forward to something like that. Look forward to something like that, okay? Also, just do your best in the exam because I believe that you have studied, okay? I see the way you like work hard in my TikTok classes. You have definitely, I know, knowing you guys, you'll be fine, okay? Just go through it, try to find that bit of fun in exam, because even though I don't think it's very easy to do that, but you just make the most of it, because trust me, once you go to JC or once you go to poly, you will feel that O level was easy. At least that's how I felt. That's how I felt. I remember thinking PSLE was the hardest thing in the world. It felt like such a. It felt like it. I don't know why it felt to me that this was going to be the last exam that I like really did, because I don't know why, because it felt like it would be the most like life changing thing in my life. It was not, by the way. Just for those who are in PSLE, hits up. It's not going to be the most life changing thing for you. It is the start. Okay, unfortunately. Okay, but yes, we went off topic. We went off topic, but right. Let's start with the ebooks. Okay, let's start with the ebooks. Let's start with the ebooks. All right. Okay. Let's see what we have today. Okay. Ebooks. PSLE model composition. Okay. This is the one that I always do go through, and it is so important for students, especially now that we are a few months away. Okay, this is something. It's more like a consolidation. And that's what I like about it. Okay, um, for me before my exam, one of my favorite. Hi, I'm MC Mariah Carey. Hi, you have changed so many like profiles. When I think of Mariah Carey now, I just think of like the Songbird. Is that your username? Songbird something. You always hit me with these kind of different usernames, and I get so confused. How are you doing, Mariah? Mariah, it's like a couple of days before like holidays, right? Or is it like the last day?
Oh, she's also studying still.
Mariah is in primary school.
How do you know Mariah?
Huh?
How did she know Mariah?
No, because she told me that she's Mariah.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't know she's young.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
They
think because like usually the ones who knows Mariah Carey maybe probably this age already.
I don't know, but for me, I love Celine Dion, and that's not really my age.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
I think that there are definitely some exceptions. But yeah. Anyways, I hope you're doing well, Mariah. You yeah, have fun. Just have fun. All right. Okay. PSLE model composition. Okay. Now, the reason why I say this is such a good consolidation is personally from personal experience. I've always liked to review material before I go into the exam. Okay. And I would spend the most amount of time on notes. Okay. For reference, I was a lit student. Yeah, I would spend so much time on English notes, and it drove me crazy. Okay, and this is something that is similar to I think I would say PSLE. For those people who are like thinking of taking lit, okay, this might be a bit of like a foreshadow for you, okay? But anyways, what I feel like it's like the similarities is that you always want to review material before the exam. It's what I did at least. Okay, and for me, I spent a lot of time with prepping notes that would help me before the exam, but not necessarily when I am, revising. Okay, it's more of like creating something that is more of a summary. Okay, and that is something that took up so much of my time. Okay, but over here we are now selling this ebook where it's essentially a summary for students. Okay, you guys don't have to write your own vocab list. You don't have to write your own vocab bank. It's all here for you guys. And we also have like model compositions inside. So if you're looking for that last bit of consolidation, it's definitely there. All you have to do before the exam, and this prep is something that's also going to benefit your revision, is annotate. Okay, read intentionally. Figure out structural advice for yourself. Okay, maybe I'm a bit lacking in this area. Now I am going to write all the structures that I want to incorporate in my own writing. I want to make sure I remember these key phrases. Okay, these are all things that you will be noting down in your yeah, in your composition. Okay, and it's also something that you can use for revision. So I think it's something that is super valuable. Okay, but definitely do join me and take a look if this sounds like, you know, something that you might be interested in. Okay, especially if, let's say, you are prepping for PSLE. Okay, again, I understand that this is such a stressful time. Okay, it is definitely not something that should be overlooked. Okay, definitely not. Okay, and I'm wishing you all the support you can get. I am rooting for all of you. Okay, but of course, let's take a look. Okay, this PSLE model composition book is 29.90 at the moment, but it's not thin. Okay, it's not like a thin like ebook that you see online. Okay, that's not it. Okay, there are so many different composition stacks inside. Okay, there are 25 PSLE model compositions, and these are all specially written to tackle challenging top school exam questions. Okay, so they are, I would say they are very relevant to whatever you're going, whatever topics and themes that you're looking at right now. It is not just some random random kind of topic. Okay, and these are all top school exam questions that they are written based on. Okay, so definitely it is something to consider, because usually we understand that as students, you guys love to practice with top school exam papers. I did too. Okay, I had that huge stack for PSLE, but one of the best ways to do that is, you know, it's just really beneficial to have a model composition for each of these top school papers. Okay, so definitely it's something to consider. All right, now a vocab list is attached to every model composition for student reference. Okay, it is a great way for students to beef up your vocab bank. Okay, again, vocab bank, there are so many benefits, and at the same time it is something that is either a hit or a miss. All right, and I always say that to students, because we have seen there are actually a lot of students, and I had classmates who did that as well, where you overdo it. Okay, you put too many vocab phrases into one sentence, and your story ends up looking super chunky. Okay, and not in a good kind of chunky, like really beefed up, but like excessive chunky. Okay, we don't want that. We really don't want that. So it is important for you to have that balance. Okay, to use vocab in a way that is effective in conveying the message you want to, but at the same time not making your story look bloated, you know. Okay, now I'm going to show you guys the contents page. Okay, take a look with me. Is it clear? All right, now it's clear. All right, so you guys can see over here that it is roughly it's roughly 3 pages long each chapter. Okay, I do want to highlight again that this is 25 PSLE model compositions. There will be 25 of them. So for these 29.90, you won't be just paying for a few pages. You're paying for definitely more than 25 pages. So you can see the page number here, that is 75. Okay. Um, yeah, and we're not just talking about one consistent type of composition, we're talking about a variation, and these are all challenging top school exam questions. So it is definitely something for your child or you to work on. Okay, over here, what we have, this is Dumb and Dumber, Ramen Warrior, My Health, My Responsibility. So very interesting titles. Okay, so for each chapter, you will be getting one composition and one vocab list. All right. So now I do want to highlight that for each model composition, it will be roughly 1 to 2 pages long, and for each vocab list, it will also be about like 1 to 2 pages long. So from that number, you should be roughly able to see that these 3 pages are very well filled up. Okay, just so definitely there are almost no filler pages. You guys can actually calculate it yourself. Almost no filler pages over here. Okay, so just full of content. It's not like those kind of super thin ebooks. We're talking about something that is fully stacked out with as much content as possible. All right, so definitely it is something to consider. Okay, again, the QR code is here for those who feel like maybe they want to make this purchase now. Okay, but of course, the cover of the book is here for your reference. you can always make the purchase on Podia by yourself. Okay, we have actually a massive variation of books. We don't just have secondary school, and we don't just have this two that I'm going through today. These two are just two of the many that we have. Okay, so definitely feel free to check out the other ones and choose the one that is best suited for your needs. Okay, we have a very wide variation, whether it's editing, oral practice, or composition. Okay, we are trying to dish out as much resources as we can for students, especially now that we are super close to PSLE and O level. Okay, I completely understand the stress. We go to cafes, we see so many students just everywhere studying. Okay, we understand the stress. Okay, I cannot. Yeah, definitely. So do take a look. Okay, and we do have bundle sales on our Podia as well. So those are all available to you guys. All right. Okay, to show you guys what the format will be like, you guys can take a look. Okay, so I think it's super important for students, for parents, to really have that insight in what you're buying, instead of just it's not very attractive for parents if they are to see that there's this ebook that's good for your child. They hear everything about it, but they don't see exactly what's inside. Okay, so we want to really make sure that you guys understand what we have here provided for you before you guys make your purchase. I'm showing you guys the format right now, but do let me know if you have any questions or any specific things that you would like to see about this book itself. Okay, over here we have the service button. You can see the arrow pointing to it. The service button is orange with a white arrow, so you guys can click that and ask your questions. You guys can also just come into the comment section, and I will have the moderator or myself, we will answer you as much as we can. All right. Also, we have the WhatsApp number above is 84049281. Okay, so you can let us know if you have any questions there. See, our moderator has greeted everyone in the chat. She is there to help. Okay, so definitely let us know if you have any questions. All right. Yeah, so let's carry on. All right, so this is not the full version. Of course, it will not be so short, but this is just a snippet. Okay, we will actually be going through one full model composition later on, so you guys can have an idea what exactly you're purchasing, and I will be annotating it bit by bit so you guys can see. Let's say you were to buy this book, how would you use it? Of course, if you already have this book on hand, or if you've just purchased this book, you can always sit with me and go through the classes together. All right, yeah, it's up to you. All right, again, the QR code is right here. You guys can just feel free to make the purchase. Okay, let us know if you have any issues. That's one of the best things that about making the purchase directly on the live, is that we can help you if you have any issues. Okay, so it is definitely going to be more straightforward. All right, the secondary school one, the O-level model essay. Okay, show of hands, how many students here are taking their O-levels this year or about to take their O-levels maybe next year? Okay, I understand we have Ozil who's taking the O-levels, Sherlyn I think as well. Mariah is taking PSLE this year, if I'm not wrong. Yes. Okay, feel free to let me know. Okay, let's see a show of hands, roughly who is taking PSLE this year. Okay, we will try our best to help everyone. All right, so over here you can see the cover page. Over here it is a green book with white wording. Okay, if this is you prefer to make that purchase on Podia, you will need the cover page for reference. Okay, also this book is currently $26.90. Okay, I will be showing you guys the contents in a bit, but if at any moment of time you feel like this is the book for me, I want this for my own practice, the QR code is right here. You can just make that purchase. Okay, let us know if you have any questions. All right, okay, contents page. I'm trying to zoom in as much as I can for everyone. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, contents page. Okay, I do want to highlight that for this book, this is targeted practice. Okay, what do I mean by that? It is practice specifically from 2016 2022 O level. Okay, like I said, Writers at Work, we have been here since 2012. We have been established since 2012. We have a lot of resources. Okay, so definitely yeah, we're here. We're here to help. We're here to help. All right. Now, what is so special about this book is that it has certain features that are just super helpful. Okay, and features that I myself really enjoy and would have loved during my own O level exam. Okay, now comprehensive question analysis. These are all things that we'll be going through later, and as well as effective learning strategies. Definitely things that students at that age should be having more exposure to. Okay, these are things that can drastically impact the direction of your studies. These are all things that can improve the quality of your study and your work-life balance. Okay, so definitely things for students to consider. Okay, we're also very deeply focused on topic-specific language about building and how to use superior vocab when writing O-level essays. Okay, I've spoken about this many times, and we have always spoken about vocab no matter what we're talking about, whether it's the ebooks, whether it is the TikTok live, whether it is what else do we do here in TikTok? We our regular classes, our crash courses. There you go. Okay, we are always speaking about vocab simply because of how important it is. Vocab is something that can really make you sound more knowledgeable. Hi, Weep. I will call you Weep. Hi. How are you? Are you doing PSLE or O level this year? But if you're not, or maybe you're a parent, I don't know. How are you doing, Weep? What can I do for you? What can I do for you? Okay. Okay. While waiting for Weep to respond, let's carry on. Okay. Now, I like I've said, vocab is super important. It really can make or break your entire conversation, your composition, whatever you're trying to deliver. Okay. Now the thing about vocab is that it can be a hit or a miss. Like I said, hit in the sense that if it is well used, it can make you sound so much more informative. It can make you sound so much more informative, so much more engaging. Okay, these are definitely things that drastically will improve the quality of your communication, make people feel like you are someone that I want to pay attention to. Okay, and that is to say, when you're doing PSLE, your O levels, or even future in the workplace. Okay, these are factors that impact how you deliver yourself. All right, but at the same time, it can be such a miss. Okay, what do I mean by that? Have you ever had a friend who always use sophisticated vocab but would misuse them, okay, or friends who would just misuse them, okay? It is something that makes people lift an eyebrow and not in a good way, okay? So definitely, hi Pro Roblox, hi. Everyone's saying hi, but no one's telling me anything. I'm so confused. Hi Pro Roblox. Is there anything I can help you with? Right, so definitely vocab is something. Hi Bree, everyone is just saying hi but no one is telling me anything. I'm so confused. Hi Bree, is there anything I can help you with? But yes, when do you remember me? Unfortunately, let's see, let me see your profile pic. Okay, if you have not changed your profile pic, I might remember you. Were you the one with the wait, the other one was a British short hair. Do you change your profile pic or your title, not your title, your username by any chance? Do you change any of that by any chance? Okay, because a lot of people change theirs. I don't. I've heard of your name Bree. Okay, I've heard of your name Bree, but it just doesn't match to the profile pic for some reason in my head. Have you attended my TikTok lives before? Like my classes? I'm sorry, Bree. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. A lot of people do come and go into lives. But yes, how are you doing? Oh, you were one of my students. I see, I see. I see, I see. How are you doing anyways? I haven't been doing the same kind of teaching. I changed my what I teach very recently. Oh right. I haven't seen you in so long. I haven't seen everyone in so long when it comes to that kind of teaching. Right. How has your studying been going recently? Are you doing PSLE? You're doing PSLE, right? Are you doing Compo now? Yes, I will be going through Compo really quickly. Not actually quite bad. Why? I'll be going through PSLE composition. Is there any questions or any comments you've been getting from your teachers that I can help you with? Is there anything that I can help you with? Very bad? Oh no, that's not good. What do you mean no? I'm so confused. So confused. I am so confused. But alright. I will be going through the PSLE composition in a bit. We're going through vocab. I will be going through format. No, more of structure, and I will be going through one of the biggest things that I've always spoken about, but never truly like broken down for students. Okay, I'll be going through the balance between progress and detail. Okay, this is something that I truly always advocate for. Okay, because it can be such a hit or a miss. All right. Bree, is there anything in particular, like comments that you've been getting from teachers? Like maybe your teachers are saying that you should show not tell, or any comments actually that you have been feeling like you have been getting from teachers a lot, but you don't know how to fix. Okay, no, no, but you're just not like you mean your grades aren't doing well, or you just feel like you're not really doing well in general, like you're not feeling well, you're not very confident about your studies. Is that it? Okay. We wait for Bree to reply. Yeah, no, oh, okay, I see, I see. Yeah, okay, I understand. Okay, that one is super understandable, and honestly, you deserve to feel validated. I understand where you're coming from. Sometimes it can be very easy to maybe burn out. It can be very easy to feel very too stressed out. It feels like nothing is really working right. I understand that. I completely understand that. You're doing PSLE this year, so if I'm not wrong, you're doing PSLE this year. PSLE is really it's that milestone. It is a massive milestone. Okay, um, honestly, I understand that maybe at this point a lot of people say, "Oh, drink more water. Just pace yourself well." Okay, these are all valid, but I feel like to go more in depth to it is maybe it will be helpful to create a schedule where you pace yourselves and do certain content this day and other content that day. But I really think you should be adding some bit of fun, some kind of hobby in the middle. Okay, it is something that can truly regulate stress. Okay, for me that worked. Okay, but I also want to highlight to you that yes, PSLE is super stressful, and no one can say otherwise. Okay, no one can say otherwise. But after you finish PSLE, you'll be starting a whole new chapter, and that is something that is that you should look forward to. Okay, there is a lot of challenges ahead, and I know that that can be super stressful in itself. But trust me when I say high school and middle school, secondary school, and O levels is going to be so much more fun. It's going to be so much more fun. Most people meet the best friends they have in their life in secondary school and in JC. Okay, yes, they do. Okay, I met some of my absolute best friends there, and it is something to truly look forward to because, very honestly, when I finished, I remember the moment when I first finished O levels, then to the moment I finished JC. I thought back to PSLE, and I felt like that was really one of the more, I wouldn't say innocent, but more one of the more everything is planned for you part of your life. Okay, so definitely you will grow, and it's gonna happen really quickly. Okay, so it is just enjoy that moment. Okay, just enjoy that moment because right now at this stage of life it is thinking that PSLE was such a fun time. Okay, definitely you will have good memories. You will have good memories. I believe that. What is this about? Oh, I'm currently going through content for secondary school and PSLE, but Bree over here was telling me about her experience a bit that she's not feeling well. So definitely I do want to give some advice on as someone who struggled a lot transitioning from PSLE, doing PSLE and then transitioning to O levels. Okay, definitely want to give that piece of advice. Okay, I struggled so much. Okay, when it comes to studying, finding the right study techniques. Okay, it felt like nothing was really working for me. So I completely understand the stress, the burnout, everything. Okay, Bree, you're not alone. Okay, always let us know. Feel free to always join in our lives. Let us know how you're doing. Okay, we are all rooting for you guys. Okay, definitely. I cannot wait for this PSLE session to be over and to hear everyone come into the live stream and tell me how they feel. What their plans are for the holidays. Okay, these are all things that we are so excited to hear. All right, definitely. Pro Roblox is so shocked. Oh, I can imagine like the tone in your voice. All right. Okay, let's carry on. I will be moving on to the PSLE combo annotation really, really soon. Okay, so for those who have any questions, you guys can start stocking up on your questions, listing them out, and you can copy paste them into the comment section, and I will go through them with you. Okay, but yes, let me just finish this O level one first. Okay, because students are also having O levels. Why the crying face, Pro Roblox? It's nothing to be sad about. All right, right, okay. Like I mentioned before, when it comes to this O-level booklet, we have a variation of topics over here. Okay, so it definitely won't be just one type of question. Okay, some people enjoy being in a crowded place, while others prefer somewhere quieter with fewer people. Describe your perfect place where you want to relax. Okay, in this case, this is definitely something that requires more description. Okay, question 1, 2, and 3, you guys can see it's actually vastly different. Description is what they want from question 1. Question 2, I realized that I was much stronger than I previously thought. Write about a time where you felt like this, okay? Now, when you talk about about the time you felt like this, we can see it's clearly a narrative. It requires you to talk about a specific event, something with more of a plot line, okay? And over here, you have the words realized and previously. So it really does add to the idea that there is a level of contrast, a level of change, okay? So these are all things that you can take away from the question. After this, yes, after this, I will be doing PSLE composition in roughly 5 minutes. In roughly 5 minutes, I'll start the PSLE composition. Okay, so around 3:16. All right, but yeah, and you have the word stronger. Okay, the word stronger and the idea of strength can be seen to be more about you can see it as mental growth, mental strength, or something physical. Okay, you'll come back in 5 minutes. All right, see you, Bree. See you. All right, so definitely it can be it depends on what you want to write, but it's so important to define it and make it definitive when you're writing your composition. Okay, it is so important. Okay, young people spend so much time thinking about the future that they forget to enjoy the present. How far do you agree? Now the thing about that is that it is so important that you are making sure that you are following the right structure. You are choosing the right genre to write. In this case, we see very clearly that it's an argumentative essay. It requires you to argue how far do you agree, why do you agree to this extent. Do you agree to a big extent, to a small extent? Okay, these are things that you have to make clear. Okay, so as you can see here, we are not just putting one type of composition question or essay question. We are putting a huge variety over here. Okay, so definitely you can see that there is quite a lot of content. Okay, again, it's 2690. You guys can take a look. Okay, I will be going through this very quickly before I do the PSLE composition. And if you have any questions or if you want me to go through anything, I will go through. But I will definitely be bouncing back to the O levels later on. I will be going through very quickly the topic that we were talking about here. I realized that I was so much stronger than I previously thought. We'll be going through that essay. Okay, so for those who are interested in the O level ebooks, please bear me, wait for me. Okay, we will be going through that very, very soon. All right, okay, but here I do want to highlight the remaining time that we have for the O levels that this is the essay question analysis. Okay, we have that as well. Essay question analysis is essentially a key breakdown that we want our students to have. We want our students to internalize and be able to do instinctively when they enter the exam hall. Okay, we follow a 3-point rule. You guys can see over here. Essay question genre. Okay, so the first thing you have to ask yourself is what kind of essay you're gonna write, and these are all things that can determine the way your story flows. It can change the way you plan your story and change the way you think about your story. Okay, so it's very, very important for you to have that mindset, that train of thought when you're doing this paper. Okay, essay question, it is a narrative essay. You can see here, like I mentioned, you are talking about a specific event over here. talking about a specific narrative over here. So it is super important. All right. Okay, keywords to know: realize and stronger. Okay, realize being an event that caused you to revoke the presumption you had of yourself. So, like I mentioned, the word realize and the word previously does highlight the fact that there is a certain change. Something has changed, something is happening. Okay, there is a certain level of contrast. All right, and then we have the word stronger. Now, the idea of strength can be physical or mental. Okay, or even something more abstract. Okay, it can be something where, let's say, you lifted weights every single day and now you're able to lift twice your weight. Something about strength. Okay, something about physical growth. Or it could be mental. You went through something super traumatic and now you are able to hold your own. You're super resilient. You are proud of who you grew to be. You are confident as a person. Okay, it can be a mental growth, mental development. Okay, and then we have number three. You can talk about why you had self doubts in your capability and then explain in detail one particular situation that aided in regaining your confidence in your strength. Okay, since strength can be either physical or mental strength, it will be good to cover both in your essay. Okay, these are all things that we want in your train of thought. Point number three should be a consolidation and an overall guideline of what you require to what you need to write about. Okay, got a bit caught up in my own words. Okay, and we have exam study tips, which I will go through a bit more in depth later on. Okay, but definitely we do really want our students to have more exposure to exam tips. Okay, so super important. The exposure is super important. I always say my story about it being life changing. Okay, so definitely if you need those extra exam tips, it might be for you. All right, now we're moving on to PSLE for a bit. Okay, okay, now I'm going to give me a second. Okay, I'm going to duplicate this. Okay, let's erase everything so you guys can have a look. Oh my goodness. Okay, because we focus a lot on the, what do you call that, we focused a lot on the O level yesterday, so we'll be focusing a bit more on the PSLE today. All right. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so over here, let me drink some water. You guys can take a rough look at and have a bit of a guess what I'm going to talk about today. The thing isn't changing. It's stuck at the, what do you call that, the contents page. I changed it to it's okay. I think it's the Wi-Fi. Actually, think it's the Wi-Fi.
Can you try and switch now?
Ooh, I've already switched.
I mean, can already, right?
Oh yeah, I see it. I see it. It's just really laggy today, huh?
Yeah.
Why is it like that?
Even the TikTok itself is lagging.
Can everyone see clearly? We are having a bit of a lag on our end. Okay, but I will go through it. If anyone has any issues, please let me know. Okay. Okay, no, it's working. It's working on my end. I can scroll. I can scroll now. Yeah, okay, it's working. It's working for me. All right. Because I'm monitoring on my TikTok as well, and it's working. All right. Hi, Bree. Welcome back. Okay, you were right in time, and you missed the technical issues that we were facing. Okay. Okay. Okay, this is the one I'm going through. I went to the contents page so you guys can actually see this is one of the books in the one of the sections in the, what do you call that? The PSLE model composition. Okay, a bit of a brain lag for me as well. I feel like with rain, everyone just becomes more laggy, including like the technology over here. Okay. Okay, we are gonna read it paragraph by paragraph like we usually do, and we're gonna annotate. But I do want to highlight to everyone that today I'll be going through the idea of balance between progress and detail. I think it's one of the key things that can really help to elevate compositions. It helps really make compositions more engaging, and this is a method that I used when I was in my when I was writing compositions myself, in PSLE or in O levels, and this is something that always helped me to achieve the grades that I want. Okay, because definitely for some students they feel like, okay, show not tell, my teacher tells me to show not tell, I will put in as much detail as I can. Okay, to an extent. Okay, always make sure that the detail that you're putting in is not, it's not overflowing with detail. It is not a buffet. Okay, you always have to be careful that you're not making your composition more chunky. Okay, so to show you guys that what I mean by a good balance between progress and detail, I'm going to be highlighting the progress in this composition with blue. So essentially things that move the story forward. Doesn't necessarily have to have a lot of detail, but progress means that something that adds context, something that moves the story to the next paragraph. Okay, because we have to make sure that we're always doing that when we're writing a composition. And for detail, we will be going through what helps the composition to sound more flowery, to essentially paints a picture. Okay, so definitely when it comes to this, we have to be mindful. Okay, we have to be mindful of the balance that we're working with. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom in. Okay, okay, I hope it's clear for everyone. Okay, let's read the first paragraph together. Actions speak louder than words. Okay, we want to put a bit of emphasis on this. I'm gonna, oh goodness me, I'm going to, I'm gonna use a red one today. Okay, I'm gonna totally about her use blue. Okay, I sniffed tearily as I tugged at brother's sleeve with a trembling hand. I'm sorry, brother, I swear, it really was an accident. I'm sorry, I cried plaintively. Brother did not even look at my direction as he yanked his sleeve out of my hand and stalked away. I trailed behind him, repeating my apology like a broken recorder. No matter how much I apologized, brother refused to acknowledge my existence. I felt like I was being sliced into ribbons, the deadly silence that he wielded cutting me deep with every filled apology. I had never seen brother so furious in my life, and I did not know how to put an end to this silent treatment. Fixing my eyes on Kiki, the family cat tweening itself apologetically around my legs, the memory of what had caused the silent treatment started replaying in my mind. Alright? Okay, I do want to show you guys this, make sure you guys can see. Okay, now, over here we can see very clearly that, oh goodness, this is, this is the beginning of a flashback. Okay, it's showing you a bit of a flashback. This is what they're using as an introduction. Okay, definitely, I'm not saying you have to use a flashback. It is just one of the many techniques you can use. You can also start with a description. You can also start with general summary of the lesson you learned. Okay, I can go through that in another class if anyone's interested, but I have gone through it before in one of the classes. Okay, but definitely it's so important that you're starting with an introduction that not only fits the context that you're writing in, but also is something that you feel very comfortable with. We don't want you trying something new in the exam. Can you? What do you mean, can you? Let me screenshot annotation after. Definitely, sure. Sure, you can feel free to screenshot, okay? Okay, but yes, flashback, okay? I sniffed tearily as I tugged at brother's sleeve with a trembling hand. Okay, I'm gonna highlight this in blue, okay? Of course, do note that over here, I'm going to be also underlining in red words that I feel like are super effective word choices, okay? Because descriptions don't always have to be in long sentences. It can be in one words that actually really paints a picture, okay? I'll be doing all that, okay? I sniffed tearily as I tugged at brother's sleeve with a trembling hand. I'm going to highlight that in blue. Okay, because it's setting the scene and it's showing her that brother is, it's showing us that brother is upset with her and the author's upset because of that. But I'm also going to highlight it in yellow. Okay, so I think I'm going to highlight it in green. Okay, I'm going to highlight it in, I'm going to highlight in blue and yellow. Okay, I'm gonna highlight it in yellow as well because it is very strong description. It's very strong description, okay? I sniffed tearily, okay, I really like that. I tugged at brother's sleeve. She's not pulling, she's tugging, okay? So it's a bit more, it shows her emotions. I'm sorry, brother. I swear it was an accident. I'm sorry, okay? Now, the thing about dialogue, it can move the story forward, but it should not be the only thing that's moving your story forward. In this case, it's not necessarily moving the story forward. It is adding a bit of auditory imagery into the story. So I'm going to be highlighting it in yellow, not blue. All right. I cried plaintively. Okay. This is going to be in blue and yellow because it is a very effective description, but at the same time, it shows us that she is crying. She shows us that she's very clearly upset. Okay. So I will be highlighting this in blue and yellow. Okay. I think this is a great way for us to see the balance and how to actually implement a balance in our own story. Brother did not even look in my direction as he yanked his sleeve out of my arms, my hand, and stalked away. Okay, I'm gonna put that in blue. Okay, it shows us that despite her efforts, brother does not care. He is upset and he just does not want to even look at her. Okay, I'm gonna highlight these words in yellow and then I'm gonna underline them in red. Okay, did not even look in my direction. Okay, it's an additional piece of information that shows, not tells us, that brother is absolutely pissed at her. Okay, and yanked and stalked away. Okay, now what other words could be used? Okay, definitely there is the option for the author to use simpler words like and walked away. Okay, walked is a very common word that people overuse in your compo, along with words like said, tell. Okay, these things convey the message, but they don't paint the picture. So it's incredibly important that even with simple one-word choices, you are making a choice, an active choice to use words that fit the context the best. Okay, that's why a vocab bank is so important. You really should build that bank that you are able to always have an option for the different contexts. Okay, I'm gonna put stalked away because it shows that how he's walking away with intention. He does not want to hang out with her anymore. He yanked, okay, very angry, very pissed. He does not even want to have anything to do with her. Okay, I trailed behind him, repeating my apology like a broken recorder. Okay, so she's super upset. She's super upset. It does, I'm gonna highlight it in blue because it shows that back and forth between them. Okay, no matter how much I apologize, brother refused to acknowledge my existence. These are things that really do add context, and context in itself does move the story forward because we really do need it to understand why certain things are happening. Okay, I'm gonna highlight in yellow as well. No matter how much I apologize, okay, this one's more. I'm gonna highlight like a broken recorder. Use of simile, I like that. Make sure to use similes that are that fit the context. Okay, I felt like I was being sliced into ribbons. Okay, okay. The deadly silence he wrote, cutting me deep with a refilled apology. Okay, okay. So something that shows that she's upset. Okay, but it does not bring the story forward. I've never seen brother so furious in my life. Okay, it does add like context. And I did not know what to do to silent treatment. There is a reason why she doesn't know what to do. There's a reason why she's so upset. And the reason for that is because she's never seen brother so angry before. Okay, I'm going to highlight this in yellow as well. Silent treatment. We know what silent treatment is. Silent treatment is essentially he is saying silent. He's not saying anything to her. He's essentially giving her the cold shoulder. Okay. Okay. Fixing my eyes on Kiki the family cat. Tweening itself apologetically around my legs. Okay. This is something that adds to the surroundings. Okay. Now this one line, it does have another effect which it makes the reader question. Okay, it makes the reader question at this point. Okay, why is Kiki tweening apologetically around her legs? Okay, why is Kiki doing that? Is it because Kiki has something to do with why brother is angry? Or is it because, you know, Kiki is, oh my goodness. Or is it because Kiki is mirroring how upset she is? Okay, you have heard of how some narrators, some authors, they use the weather to describe someone's emotions, like saying the weather, the rain was pouring outside, mirroring the storm brewing inside my heart. Okay, it's stuff like that. Okay, or over here, is that what it is, or did Kiki do something to cause this entire situation? Okay, the memory of what causes start replaying in my mind. I'm definitely putting this in blue because it moves this paragraph on to the next. Okay, okay, so you guys can definitely see over here there's a bit more yellow than blue. Okay, I do want to highlight to students or maybe parents who are trying to guide their child that it is completely normal for some paragraphs to have more of either progress and detail than the other. Okay, now why do I say that? Now you see, when you're writing an introduction, you are writing something that starts the story. You're writing something that paints the story, that sets the scene. Okay, it is natural that you want to paint a more defined picture. You want to prioritize that over moving the story forward. Okay, there has to be the balance, but it's okay that you're prioritizing painting a picture a bit more. Okay, then I'm going to go on to this, which is the rising action, the next paragraph, and you guys should be able to see that there is a lot more blue than yellow over here. Okay, it's a lot more blue than yellow over here, and there is a reason for that. Okay, a rising action, you are moving from an introduction to your climax. You are definitely going to be using more actions to move the entire story along, so it's completely normal if you start noticing that you are moving the story along and a bit more instead of describing. Okay, but of course you can add a bit more to your story by making more subtle word choices, more effective word choices, and at the same time adding 1 or 2 lines of effective descriptions over there. And one of the best ways to write effective description inserted is to really focus on key emotions within the story. Okay, I'm going to show you guys with this example, this paragraph an example. Okay, okay, I'm gonna skip to the middle just to explain my point. Okay, shock pierced my heart, foreboding chill running down my spine. Okay, now this is something, it's one very small emotion, but it's an emotion that plays a key part in the story. Now the reason why this writer goes ahead and does something for the brother or tries to salvage the situation, okay, is because she is so upset, and we can really play in on how upset she is, make a big deal about it essentially, and write more and a more exaggerated description about how she's feeling. Okay, that is one very important, very strong way that you can add detail into your story. Okay, throwing the door to brother's room open a flourish, I bounded inside and flung myself onto his bed. Okay, this is the start. I'm going to put this in blue. Okay, this is how this is starting. Okay, we're starting a new paragraph. Definitely is considered progress. Okay, but I'm also going to put certain parts in yellow. Okay, because like the word throwing, okay, this is very effective word choice. Open in a flourish, bounded inside, and flung myself. Okay, and I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to underline this in red. Okay, because these are word choices that I want my students to be able to note down and use in their own story. Okay, throwing, because it shows that she's not just opening the door, she's not pushing the door open, she is throwing the door open. She's very aggressive. It also paints a picture of what kind of character this is. This is a very aggressive character. She is not a very graceful, she's a very authentic, she's a very tomboyish character. All right, open in a flourish, I bounded inside. She's not walking inside, she's bounding inside. When you see something bounded inside, you're usually talking about like a dog, someone that's very, very active, very, very cheery. Okay, and flung myself onto this bed. She's not just lying into this bed, she's a very aggressive, very high energy character. All right, just as I was starting to drift off to sleep, this is additional information that doesn't add much to the story, but it paints the picture for us. So I'm going to highlight it in yellow. Kiki came shrieking into the room. Okay, Kiki enters, and it gives us as readers a sense of premonition that something is going to happen. And what is super valuable about this kind of writing is when you have foreshadowing, it adds an extra layer, an extra dimension into your story, because your reader, your audience, has to engage in order to understand what you're saying. Okay, your audience will immediately think, okay, why is this happening? The moment they start asking questions when they read your composition, that is when you have successfully engaged them. All right. Kiki came shrieking into the room like a comet. Okay. I'm gonna highlight like a comet in yellow. Okay. I'm gonna go on to the next sentence. Jerking awake, I called out to it, but something had caught its eye. Sense of premonition. Okay. Really that sense of feeling that something is gonna go wrong. What caught its eye? And we are saying this knowing that Kiki is apologetic for some reason. Kiki is feeling sorry for some reason. And we also know that brother is upset. And now that they are all in his room, does Kiki damage something? Is that why she is so angry? Okay, these are all questions that are going through my mind. And that's how I know that this composition is effective in engaging me. All right. Okay, Kiki came shrieking. Shrieking is like a streak of light. You can see the speed where she's running in. This cat has no chill. Okay, so definitely it's one way to make sure that we know that something is going on. Okay, let's see. Bree, at this point, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? Does anyone have any questions? Okay, something it caught its eye, and I'm gonna give a bit more context. Its favorite toy was sitting on top of brother's desk. Okay. Kiki gleefully clawed its way up without hesitation. Okay. So we have a sense that Kiki's gonna do something. Okay. Before scampering away with it in its mouth. And then at this point you're wondering, what is it? What is it? Okay, so at this point you're wondering. Its favorite toy is sitting in front of brother's desk. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay. The runner gleefully clawed its way up. Okay, so Kiki is not just running, she's clawing her way up. She's very aggressive, she's using her claws. Okay, before scampering away, I'm gonna put in this. Oh, goodness. Okay, without finally scampering away with it in its mouth. Suddenly, I saw a piece of calligraphy paper fluttering in the air as it drifted towards the floor. Okay, shows us what happened, but at the same time, I'm gonna put this in yellow as well. Okay, I'll put this in blue. Drifted towards the floor. Okay, so it's almost as if it's happening in slow motion. Okay, it's like, and the way that they're using slow motion makes us really think something bad is happening. Okay, shock pierced my heart, a foreboding chill running down my spine. I turned my back to its brother's desk. I turned my head to its brother's desk. Okay, dread slowing time down. My breath caught in my throat at the horrifying sight. Okay. Brother's Chinese calligraphy said that he had spent weeks applying for his direct school mission had been ripped to shreds. Okay, by Kiki's claws. My lips parted in a silent scream. Panic coursing through my veins. Okay, I knew how close the deadline for the portfolio submission was. Before I could do anything to salvage the situation, brother appeared. He took one look at his destroyed masterpiece and my guilty expression before kicking me out of his room. Okay, so definitely you can see that there's a lot of blue over here. You can see a lot of blue over here. So you can see that there is a lot of content going on, and it is normal, okay? Because you are moving from somewhere that is, let's say, more description based to somewhere that is more, it's the climax, something, a lot of things are happening at the same time. So definitely it's normal. Okay, let's go on. Meow, kicking mute as it fixed its round orbs on me, snapping me out of the nightmare. I tried to apologize to brother once more. He slammed the door in my face. Tears rolled down my cheeks, my lips quivering as I stared at the closed door. Slamming against his door, I waited for him to come out. However, the door remained shut even when our parents attempted to mediate. I knew I had to do something to show the sincerity in my apology. This time, mere words were not going to cut it. Alright? So it definitely shows that something is happening and it's Kiki's fault. Okay? I'm gonna add this. Okay, but I do want to highlight this. I really like this. Okay. This is one that made me really made me think, because it makes me wonder, okay, Kiki mute as it fixes round orbs. I mean, what does round orbs mean? Okay. There is so many different ways that so many simpler ways that the author could have written and say Kiki mute as it looked at me. Okay, so definitely it is there is that simpler way, but the fact that it fixes round orbs on me, it took me that second, like, oh, okay, round orbs, that's what she means. Okay, then it made more sense. But this moment that I took makes me engaged on a deeper level this story, and it's something that's super valuable and that we really do want our students to be able to pick up. All right, snapping me out of the nightmare. Okay, I tried to apologize to brother once more. He slammed the door in my face. Okay, so again, there's this. Tears rolled down my cheeks, my lips quivering as I stared at the closed door. Okay, so a lot of detail going on at this moment. Slumping against his door, I waited for him to come out. In which cases, hi S24J, in which cases do we add a comma after N? Could I get back to you after I finish these two paragraphs? All right, I will do that a little explanation. All right, slumping against his door, I waited for him to come out. Okay, slumping against his door, I waited for him to come out. However, the door remained shut even when our parents attempted to mediate. I knew I had to do something to show the sincerity in my apology. This time, mere words were not going to cut it. Okay, these are all things they really add to the story, right? Okay, over here we have the word slumping. Over here we had the word attempt to mediate. And over here we had not going to cut it. Okay, these are all things that I really want students to focus on, okay, because these are all things that can truly change the way people perceive your story. Okay, now what do I mean by that? When you're using more in-depth words, you're using more sophisticated words that are you know, more catered to a certain context, it is something that shows people that, you know, you are someone who knows what you're doing. You are someone who is willing to engage the audience and knows how to, okay? Okay, let me just... The Wi-Fi is lagging a bit, huh? It's lagging a bit for me on my side. And I'm not sure it's... Wait. Huh, why is this happening? Okay, never mind, it's working again. Alright. Okay. Now, I want to move on to the next sentence, but okay, let's focus on this one. Mere words were not going to cut it. Okay, this is more of a foreshadow. Sorry guys, tech issues. I'm not the most technologically savvy person, unfortunately. Okay, so over here, I'm gonna highlight these two sections. Okay, bear with me for a second. These are mere words, we're not gonna cut it. Okay, so this is kind of like a foreshadowing. It really is like foreshadowing. Okay, foreshadow as well as the idea that actions do speak louder than words. Okay, so this is something that links back to the title. Okay, mere words and mere words. So choose actions. Okay, so it really links back to the title, and it's so important for you to consistently link back to the title when you are writing a composition. Okay, slumping against the door. Okay, I also really like this word because it shows that she's so upset that she's absolutely like there's no energy in her. She's just upset. She doesn't know what to do. She's not sitting, she's slumping, snapping me out of the nightmare. And it just was very instantaneous. It's like slapping, okay? And what I love about this sentence and why I bracketed it is because it transitions out of the memory. Okay, so definitely these are all small choices that really impact. Okay, as to for J, I will finish this paragraph and then I will go through that with you. All right, but over here, let's read. Okay, determined to convince brother to accept my apology, I hid it to my room, brother's old calligraphy tools in hand. Shutting myself in my room, I got to work recreating brother's old Chinese calligraphy set. 1 hour passed, 2, 3. I was burning the midnight oil. Calligraphy ink smudged all over my face and hands. Crumpled pieces of calligraphy paper strewn all over the floor and table. Every painstaking brushstroke was an apology given form. Every crumpled piece of paper an indication of my sincerity. Perhaps it was because I was a left-hander. Perhaps my skills were simply much more inferior compared to brother. Regardless of the reason, try as I might, my Chinese calligraphy was simply incomparable to that of brother's. My left hand was trembling from exhaustion as it gripped the calligraphy brush tightly, the muscles in my fingers screaming out in pain. Still, I did not give up. How could I when my mistake could affect my brother's DSA? Okay, so let's take a look. Okay. Now, I'm going to highlight this. Determined to convince Bird to accept my apology, I hid it to my room, brother's old calligraphy tools in hand. Okay, so it gives us an idea of what she is doing. Okay, and it moves the story along in that exact way. We got to work recreating brother's Chinese calligraphy set. Okay, 1 hour passed, 2, 3. I was burning the midnight oil. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna highlight this in yellow as well. Okay, burning the midnight oil and this. Okay, now you guys all understand why I highlighted burning the midnight oil. Okay, that is very self-explanatory. But why am I highlighting 1 hour past 2, 3? Okay, please, does anyone have any idea why I did that? Okay, for those who know, please type in the comment section. I'll give everyone around 3 seconds to do so. 2 to 3 seconds. Okay. See, everyone's pretty like tired today. Okay, it's all right. Okay, let's go on. Okay, 1 hour past 2, 3. Now, I really want to highlight the fact that these are very short sentences. The fact that you're writing 1 hour past, full stop, 2, 3. So my main focus over here is the fact that these are super short. Okay, Okay. Now, the thing about descriptions is that it does not necessarily always have to be in the form of long sentences. It does not always have to be in the form of words. Okay. Now, structure can be a very effective description in its own. Okay. What do I mean by that? Now, when you're using short sentences, it also changes the rhythm of the story. Short sentences also implies that whatever is within that short sentence is so important and it's so definitive that there does not need to have anything more said. Okay, so over here you're saying 1 hour passed, 2, 3. So nothing, there is nothing else that's happening in this time. Time is passing fast for her because she's so focused on what's going on. Okay, so what I'm saying over here is where students can, it is also a good idea to sometimes vary the length of sentences, to vary the length to vary your sentence structure, okay? Because these things all impact the way people perceive, view, and read your story, okay? It changes the rhythm, it changes the variety in your story. It shows people that you have, you know what you're doing, right? So that is an option. Burning the midnight oil, we know what that is, okay? Okay, now I'm gonna highlight this in yellow. Calligraphy in smudged all over my face, hands crumpled pieces of paper strewn all over the floor and table. Okay, it does not necessarily move the story along, but it shows us what exactly she's doing and the way she's doing it. So it's very it paints the picture for us. Okay, so every painstaking brushstroke with an apology given form. Okay, I'm wondering at this point if anyone has noticed it. Okay, if anyone has noticed it. All right. Every painstaking. Okay, I really like this word. An apology given form. Okay, there it is. There it is. All right. An apology given form. Okay, and I'm gonna link this in. The title of the story is Actions Speak Louder Than Words. Okay, now the fact that we're saying an apology given form, it does suggest that we are linking to that. Okay, we really are linking to the fact that actions speak louder than words, and that apology itself as a word, it does not have much value, but she wants to give it form. So every crumpled piece of paper was an indication of my sincerity. She is using actions because actions speak louder than words. Okay, sorry for the handwriting. All right, so over here I'm also gonna highlight crumpled pieces was an indication of my sincerity. Perhaps it was because I was a left-hander. Perhaps my skills were much more inferior compared to brother. Okay, so I'm gonna highlight all of these because I feel like this is definitely something that paints the picture. It's something that does not necessarily have to be there. It's not necessary to the story, but at the same time, it paints the picture. It makes it so much more vivid. Okay, it is a thought process that she has. She's thinking, why am I not doing well over here? Why am I not getting the same results that brother has? But over here, she's thinking about that. Maybe it's because she's a left-hander. Maybe because her skills are so much more inferior. Regardless of the reason, try as I might. Okay, this becomes blue. OMG, I'm still live. I am still live. I will be live till 5:30. I'm live till 5:30 most of the days actually. My left hand was trembling from exhaustion. So sad. I still have class next week. What class do you have? Oh, right. I'm assuming that PSLE students and O-level students have different break times. Is that what it is? I'm sorry. I'm been super out of touch when it comes to that. Okay. My left hand was trembling from exhaustion as it gripped the calligraphy brush tightly. The muscles in my fingers screaming out in pain. Okay. Still, I did not give up. How could I when my mistake could affect my brother's DSA? Okay, so over here, really it does, there really is that balance. There's so much more balance here than in the first two paragraphs. You guys can clearly see it, all right? Okay, now we finish this paragraph. Okay, for what's their name? S24J. Okay, I will answer your question. You asked in which cases do we add a comma after N. Okay, I think you mean like a comma before N. Is that what it is? Because it is a valid question. Okay, sometimes when you're let's say I say I love my parents Lady Gaga and Mariah Carey. Okay, I love my parents Lady Gaga and Mariah Carey. In this case, do I write I love my parents, comma Lady Gaga and Mariah Carey, or do I say I love my parents, comma Lady Gaga, comma and Mariah Carey? Okay, so there is that two options. Okay, now the re the main way we use this comma is usually in a list of three or more items, okay, or in a situation when we're joining two independent clauses. Okay, so now how when you're saying if you're saying that it is a list of three or more items, okay, the comma is something that is more formal. It clearly separates the three items. Okay, so definitely it can be used. Okay, I would definitely recommend that being a situation. Okay, and the second situation where you use it is when you're joining two independent clauses. Okay, so a use of comma and when you're completing those two sentences. Okay, so example, I wanted to go for a walk, comma, and she decided to join me. Okay, um, in that way it's two independent clauses. You could also write I wanted to go for a walk, full stop, she decided to join me, full stop. Okay, so in that sense you're connecting two of them together. Okay, so these are all ways that you can use that. All right, okay, now I hope that answered your question. All right, all right, now we have last two paragraphs. Okay, guys, we have 4 more minutes. 4 more minutes. All right, we might not be able to finish it. All right, rubbing my blurry eyes the next morning, I stared at my most decent replica of brother's work thus far. Okay, I really like this description because it is painting a picture that she is jumping the scene. But at the same time, I'm going to highlight this in blue because it is not possible that she is going to write her entire process and everything she does, maybe from like brushing her teeth after she was done and then going to bed, taking a shower. Okay, these are not things that she's gonna write. You're not have time to finish that. Okay, but over here it is a clear transition from one paragraph to another. Okay, it's a bit of a time jump. It's so important to have a good grasp of that. I stared at my most decent replica of brother's work thus far, and then praying it would convince brother to accept my apology and help him with his essay portfolio. Okay, I carefully picked up my Chinese calligraphy set after cleaning my hands and dashed to his room. Okay, I presented the Chinese calligraphy set to him as I so nervously. Okay, brother, I'm really sorry I did this for you to make up for what I had destroyed. Will you forgive me? Okay. Now, some of you might ask if you didn't put the dialogue as blue just now, why are you putting the dialogue as blue now? Okay, now over here, she is directly using dialogue to say that she is asking for brother's forgiveness. Okay, so it does move the story along. It shows us that she has gotten to that part of the story where she wants forgiveness, and we're coming to the resolution of the story. All right, so that is something that is different over here. Okay. I'm going to highlight slipping inside because it does not necessarily add to the story, but it paints a picture that she is still scared that he's upset with her. So she is not confident, she's not going inside, she is slipping inside. Okay, so nervously. Okay, I asked trying to hide the quaver in my voice. Okay, this is something that she's still scared that he's upset at her. I stared at the floor, pretendingly unable to look him in the eye. Okay, so these are all things that paints a picture. It shows us the feelings that she feels at the moment. Okay, would he accept my apology this time? Okay, after a few seconds, I heard him sigh. Tensing up, I mentally hurled my shoulders up for another rejection. I looked at him to see a smile on his face. Okay. Okay, and then unable to look him in the eye. Would he accept my apology this time? Okay, and then after a few seconds, tensing up, until we hold my shoulders up, preparing for yet another rejection. Okay, so it really shows that she doesn't she wants to make sure that he's not still upset. All right. Suddenly, brother patted my head. I look up at him to see a smile on his face. Okay. My silly younger sister, thank you for making this for me. You must have stayed up all night to write this, judging by the eye bags under your eye and the smudges all over your clothes and face. Am I right? Thank you, and I forgive you, brother murmured as he laid my Chinese calligraphy sat on his table. I grinned at him, relief washing over me like a tidal wave. I hugged him tightly, making a mental note to never be so callous again. All right, so over here, my silly younger sister. Let me put this in blue instead. Thank you for making this for me. You must have stayed out all night. Am I right? Thank you, and I forgive you, brother murmured as I grinned at him, relief washing over me like a tidal wave. Okay, sorry, the blue, because it really moves the story forward. He has forgiven her, and he shows that he still cares. Okay, which shows true forgiveness because he's noticing small details about her, which he probably would have ignored if he was still pissed at her. All right. My silly younger sister. Okay, all night to write this. Smudges all over your clothes and face. Am I right? Brother murmured as he laid my Chinese calligraphy set on the table. Okay, green at him, really watching. I hugged him tightly, making a mental note to never be so callous again. Okay, now I want to highlight this part again to everyone. Okay, now this is something that I always mention. Okay, when it comes to reading a composition, one of the great ways to learn is picking up things that you can put in your own compositions. Okay, it's something to do with adaptation. Okay, look at this last bit over here, making a mental note to never be so callous again. Now the thing about this is that I could use it in another composition. You have to be able to think about such things like that when you're reading a model composition. I could use this. Let's say I was rude to my mom, rude to parent. Okay, and I feel super guilty. I can end off such a story with saying, making a mental note, never to be so disrespectful again. And when it comes to let's say I lost something, I can say that, making a mental note, never to be so careless again, which is the exact same. Or you could say, making a mental note to be more careful in the future. Okay, so that is about it for this composition. Okay, Bree, I hope you're still there. This is a great time to take a picture, okay, of the annotations. You can take a picture right now. Okay, you can take a picture right now if you're still here. We will be moving on to our crash course live. Okay, so I will be going through some of the crash courses we have available. Those are great for students who are currently struggling and need a bit of that extra boost. Okay, so it will be great. Okay, so I will see you guys on the next live, definitely. Okay, bye everyone.